It was tucked into the back of her thing.
No.
What do you mean when she bent over like her skirt?
No.
She walked.
She was walking and it was.
This cheek was hanging out.
No.
Oh my God. That is
Why wouldn't you tell her that?
I wouldn't tell her that.
So she wouldn't walk down the hall and be embarrassed. Sherrod, sit down now, please.
He would want to go look.
Sit down.
No, I seen it and I was just like this. Look at my face.
It must have been tucked in there
I
or
was like-
something. That it didn't, like the bottom was tucked into the top.
My face is like this.
Yo, is that what you mean?
Did you see me when I turned? I was like this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm scarred for life.
That was scary. That was real scary.
Tragic.
At least it wasn't her will and choice.
Tragic.
This is the first history sheet we're doing. Actually, take out the outline from yesterday. We gotta finish that too. And you need a history book.
Oh my God.
I feel like going up.
Hopefully we don't have to.
Hey, that's serious.
Sherrod, you didn't.
No, it was that serious. It was
I feel bad.
disgusting.
A history book.
I'll think she have underwear on.
Probably not.
Let's stop.
I swear
Stop.
to
Guys.
I swear to God, yo. Unless her underwear was the same exact
And the
color as
outline
skin.
from
She
yesterday.
had see-through ones on.
Alright, too many details.
Yeah, sure. You like those
You're the
details.
one who went
All right, come on. We're starting this. Get your book, Sherrod. Joanna.
I got a book. Okay. What page?
Page
437.
yeah, 437.
Oh man.
Does anyone need a book? I have one right here.
No.
God damn.
Why don't things? Go next door.
Yeah, go next door. You don't want me to remind you.
Stop fiddling with your stupid shoes and open up the book to 437.
Alright, if I didn't, maybe you could yell at me, but if I did,
You're on 437?
if I'm not,
You're on
if I'm not, you
437.
can smack the shit out of me. I need permission.
437. 437. You're on
If
437.
not, I swear on my life, you can smack the mess out of me.
Nobody could smack you that hard.
All right, 437. We're going to read section 5 and finish the outline. During Roosevelt's administration, Congress passed many laws. They protected Americans from the sale of unhealthy meat and unsafe drugs. In 1906, Congress passed the Meat Inspection Act and the Food and Drug Act. Government officials could inspect meat packing plants to see if they were clean. Drug companies were required to prove that their drugs were safe. Before 1900, the nation's natural resources seemed unlimited. America had plenty of forest land, good soil, fresh water, coal, oil, and other minerals. President Roosevelt and others worried that America would run out of these resources. Conservation was needed to protect them. Roosevelt appointed the Gifford Pinchot to head the United States Forest Service. Pinchot was committed to protecting the nation's natural resources. He convinced Roosevelt to add 150 million acres to the country's forest reserves and to preserve valuable mineral-rich lands for future use. In 1902, Congress passed a law that gave federal government the power to build dams and to establish irrigation projects. Land was developed for 5 national parks. In 1908, the president called state governors to a national conference to discuss steps they could take to preserve resources within their states. Soon after the conference, many state governments had set up conservation groups of their own. What was Roosevelt's foreign policy? He had the plan a government follows when dealing with other nations is called their foreign policy. The U.S. had 3 plans. One involved Europe, Asia, and Latin America. The policy towards Europe was to be neutral, which means what? You're neutral. You don't take one side or the other. Okay? and isolated. The policy with Asia was more to do with settling disputes and improving trade. In 1905, Roosevelt helped Russia and Japan end a war between them. The U.S. set forth the open door policy, which covered trade with Asia. Roosevelt also built a powerful navy. The Navy protected American interests in Asia and the Caribbean Sea. The policy toward Latin America had to do with the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine had stated that European nations could not start any new colonies in the North or South America. Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic of today, ran into trouble with foreign debt. Roosevelt then added the Roosevelt Corollary. Under this addition to the Monroe Doctrine, he stated that the U.S. would come to the aid of any Latin American country. The U.S. took over temporary control of Santo Domingo's finances and saw to it that its debts to Europe were taken care of peacefully. The Navy needed a fast way to move its warships from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. Also, commercial shippers would benefit from having a direct route. To solve the problem, a canal needed to be built through Central America. The shortest route for the canal was through Panama, a part of the Republic of Colombia. A group of Panamanians did not want the U.S. to build a canal because they were afraid of losing control there. When the U.S. government offered the country $10 million for a strip of land through Panama, plus yearly rent, Colombia refused. Panama revolted against Colombia in 1903, and Roosevelt sent American battleships to help them. The revolt was successful, and that year Panama became an independent republic. The U.S. paid the new Republic of Panama $10 million plus yearly rent for a 10-mile wide strip of land. The Big Ditch, as the canal was called, was completed in 1914, and it took 10 years to build. The canal was more than 50 miles long, and it cut the distance for ships traveling from New York to San Francisco by more than 7,000 miles.
Damn.
What was Roosevelt's big stick policy? Many countries in Latin America had political and economic problems in 1900. They borrowed money from European countries and had difficulty repaying the loans. The U.S. feared that European nations would take control of the countries that owed them money. Britain, Germany, and Italy sent battleships to Venezuela in 1902. They wanted to force Venezuela to repay its loans. Venezuela asked the U.S. for help. President Roosevelt convinced European nations to let the new Hague Tribunal, or World Court, settle the dispute. The World Court is in the Netherlands. Foreign battleships in South America worried Roosevelt, and in 1904 he revised the Monroe Doctrine. The U.S. would act as a police power in Latin America. The U.S. would try to solve any political or economic problems in a Latin American country, and the U.S. could use the military to bring back order to a Latin American country. This was called the Big Stick Policy. The policy was called that because he often used an